What is something super important that is on the verge of happening? Last week, a Pakistani-based terrorist blew up a bus killing 41 Indian soldiers in the disputed territory of Kashmir. India blamed Pakistan for the attack and swore revenge. Pakistan had replied saying that India takes revenge, they will retaliate. Yesterday, a group of Indian fighter jets crossed into Pakistani airspace, conducted an airstrike on the terrorist camp in Pakistani territory. If true, this could start an Indian-Pakistani war, where both countries are nuclear powers. Update: looks like the verge of happening actually happened. Pakistan shot down 2 Indian fighter jets and captured one of the pilots. India has also apparently shot down a Pakistani fighter jet. Pakistan just shot down 2 Indian fighter jets. So this is what Reddit is like at 3 AM, the golden time to be online. Privacy is disappearing, and there's little to no way to save it. Cameras, sensors, etc. are everywhere, and software is mining the data for information on us. The software is ever improving, and the sensor coverage is ever increasing. Just heard a bit on NPR today about how FB collects info on you by buying it from other apps essentially. You don't need an account for FB to know your personal details. I used to work for a digital marketing company. We would buy data and use AI to categorize our customers. Like for example, we knew what you bought on Amazon. We know that every day at 2:45 you're at your son's elementary school picking him up. We know that you are searching for flights to Orlando to go to Disney World etc. We then would use that info to send you targeted ads. The only thing we didn't know was your name. Brexit. Not the vote, but the actual action of Britain leaving the EU. The deadline is on March 29th and there is currently no plan to solve the trade issues and border disputes that were solved by Britain being in the EU. Ah yes, that fun little crap show. It's a train wreck in slow motion. Couple years ago I believed that a group of serious adults is capable to come to an agreement in the face of impending nationwide catastrophe, and yet here we are, at 2019. And GB seems to only accelerate towards hard Brexit, which will be absolutely disastrous. It's half hilarious, half fascinating and half absolutely terrifying. Not a global thing, but I haven't walked in over half a year due to injury, and I get to start trying to walk tomorrow. So that's super important for me. Update: it went great. It was kinda painful, but I was able to hobble around like a champ, in my opinion. The doc says keep the amount that I try walking per day to a minimum, but that I should be back up and about in no time. Thanks for the silvers and golds everyone. I've never gotten those before. That's amazing news. I'm so excited for you. I'm beyond excited. Granted I only get to walk for short periods of time, but something is better than nothing. As Wi-Fi covers more and more of the country, phone companies will lose their ability to charge exorbitant prices because telephony will be available everywhere. Magic Jack will be all you need, all calls and texts running through the internet. I couldn't find my phone, so I asked Alexa to call it. She didn't know what I was talking about. I recited the numbers to her and she called my phone, which I found. I then asked her to add my number to her contacts, so when I say call my phone she'll call it. She didn't understand. I told her she wasn't very smart. She's mad off at me. I feel like something big is going to happen regarding antibiotic resistance. We'll start to really see the effects of the problem within the next few years. It's already happening. It's a massive problem for us already, and the infectious disease team at my hospital is permanently run off their feet trying to deal with multi-resistant organisms. Part of the problem is that we haven't really invented a new class of antibiotic in the last few decades, though I believe there is one in the works, and because time from deployment to resistance is getting shorter and shorter, it is now 1 year between a new antibiotic coming out and resistance to it appearing. Pharmaceutical companies don't want to invest in new antibiotics because they're rendered useless and therefore not profitable so quickly. But we need this kind of research now more than ever. If something doesn't change in the next 10-20 years, we are going to end up back at a point where a simple pneumonia will have a high probability of killing a healthy young adult. Yep. And it really makes me angry that so many people still don't know about it, and that even if I'm careful and avoid taking a lot of antibiotics, it still doesn't matter. Everyone else has to do it too. We're in the midst of a fourth industrial revolution, automation. This revolution will basically see the near complete removal of human muscle from most of the economy. Trades, professions, services, and knowledge work should be okay, but manufacturing jobs will be hit hard. We are going to have to figure out what to do with a significant portion of the population that can no longer find productive work. Health and human services, its services, food, and craft artisans. Maybe if we are lucky, people will start to do more creative work. Unfortunately, education has been the unwanted stepchild of investments in the US for so long that we are not prepared for mass automation. Small manufacturing companies that do not produce things of artistic value will be replaced by large companies that can afford to implement automation. Didn't this mostly already happen to the agricultural economy in the US? What did we do when that happened? We evolved, somehow, someway, painfully. The star Betelgeuse is likely to go supernova during this century. To understand how important this is, it will be the first Milky Way supernova since 1861, and by far the brightest supernova in recorded human history. Betelgeuse is very close by, a supergiant, California, 1000x the sun, and already one of the brightest stars in the night sky. When it explodes, it's likely going to be brighter than the full moon for many months, visible even during daytime. Between 1993 and 2009 it got 16% smaller, collapsing at a rate of 213 m/s, and the rate is increasing. Can I just say this is the coolest comment I've seen on here so far. Thank you for telling me about this. If I'm not mistaken, I was told that due to the distance of the stars in relation to us, the star could have very well gone supernova already years ago from this very second, and the light we are seeing is merely light that has traveled over the course of a few light years. So that star could be gone right now, and we wouldn't know it until many years later. Someone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Within a decade or so there will be an explosion in the number of people in their 50s and 60s that require a place in a residential nursing care home. If you look at the age of the population in care homes at present, they are mostly very elderly people that in their youth and middle age had active jobs or lived active lives without even really trying. They walked to the store, walked to work or cycled, and the housewives were active in their day-to-day activities, not to mention the amount of people in manual labor. They also ate fairly healthy diets, and in the main were not obese. Today many people sit at a desk all day and eat rubbish. The vast majority do not keep themselves active, or do any kind of resistance and cardio workouts to balance that. Obesity rates are such that we have people in their mid-40s that find it difficult to mobilize themselves and have pain when walking or getting out of a chair. I was speaking to an orthopedic surgeon a while ago about this issue, connected to my work, and his view was that a lot of people are focusing on diabetes as the ticking time bomb health-wise, when in reality the amount of health and mobility issues caused by obesity will hit just as hard. So within a decade or two we will see the youngest population ever requiring nursing care due to immobility. Most of the people in our nursing home are in their 50s and 60s, and poor diet, drugs and especially alcohol put them there. Keep drinking lads, we'll see you soon. Puree chicken and peas at noon. 34 is our youngest so far, unless you count congenital issues, had a spina bifida in their 20s. We are running short of cute old ladies with Alzheimer's, all we have are wasted uncles. Obesity and diabetes are basically the left fist and right one. If you really wanna quibble about which was worse after you got beat up, I suppose you could. Preach. I'm a dietary aide in a long-term care home. Lately our new admits are either younger males with alcohol-induced, not sure the exact term, Alzheimer's, severely obese people who are stuck in wheelchairs, etc. It's horrible. And the worst part about the home is that our policy is we give the residents what they want to eat at any tone, unless they're allergic to it. So if diabetic 400-pound Betty asks me for a Coke and her sugars are already high, I have to give it to her, or I get written up. And Betty won't drink diet soda. What I'm supposed to do is tell the nurse, and they'll administer insulin. I refuse to take part of it. I've lied before and said that I couldn't find what they asked for / don't have it. Frick, I don't care anymore if I get fired. I have a date this weekend, and I really want to kiss her. We've gone out a few times and we've been hitting it off really well. I've got a really good feeling about her, so wish me luck. I went through that like a month ago, and talking about it with my now girlfriend, she said, if a girl goes out with you more than 2 times she's most likely into you, and expecting you to kiss her, so go for it and good luck. For sure. I waited until date number 4 to kiss my now wife, and she was thinking to herself, how, I guess he's just not into me and wants to be friends. Whereas I was thinking, I don't want to come on too strong and be that grabby asshole that women always talk about. SpaceX is launching the first test flight of their new manned capsule this weekend. When they launch, it will be the first human-rated flight to launch on US soil since the end of the space shuttle. Additionally, SpaceX is planning to deploy their high-speed Starlink satellite constellation in low Earth orbit in the next few years. The idea is to provide high-speed internet to the entire world, which would be far lower latency than current satellite internet and possibly even faster than fiber optics. Also could allow all of us to switch away from Comcast, so I'm definitely looking forward to that lol. Also, they are constructing a prototype of the Starship, their next rocket, which is planned to be fully reusable and bigger than Saturn V. If they pull it off, it could launch a ship comparable to the volume of the entire International Space Station up in one orbit launch, for like literally 100 times less than the cost of a space shuttle launch. Who knows what we'd do with that? Titanic 2 setting sail. Clive Palmer is one of the worst politicians to ever happen to Australia. This is the man who demanded Townsville's mayor to step down after doing nothing during the flooding we experienced. She did more than the public knows. This is also the same man who has not so much as looked at his pocket in terms of donating to flood victims. He's a trash human. Mayor of Townsville just got the Powerpuff Girls to do it.